Okay, hello everyone. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in Just Flight's Piper Arrow 3. Today we are going to Oshkosh and we are going to fly the Fisk Arrival. This year, once again, PilotEdge teamed up with EAA to use real air traffic controllers to recreate virtually the AirVenture event as SimVenture 2021. So it's going to be awesome. I did this last year in X-Plane. This is my first year doing it in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we'll be interacting with real live air traffic controllers. So let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Last year I flew out of Waukesha, and I'll repeat the airport again this year to keep in theme. Alright, as we get started, I will take you through the flight brief. So we're departing Waukesha. We're going to use the Badger VOR to navigate ourselves to Green Lake. The actual transition will be determined by ATC, so we'll need to listen to Fisk Approach, and they'll let us know if they are using Green Lake or one of the other transitions. We need to arrive at the transition at 1,800 feet doing 90 knots. There will be traffic everywhere, so we'll need to manage our spacing. And then we'll be flying to Ripon and Fisk before going to Oshkosh. Just like the real event, there is an extensive NOTAM telling you all of the details of the arrivals, transitions, departures, parking, all of the rules that you'll need to know. The one for SimVenture is 30 pages. You download it from PilotEdge along with the scenery that you'll need to do this. There are actually 4 different transition possibilities: Ripon, Green Lake, Puckaway Lake, or Endeavor. I'm planning for Green Lake. That's where I ended up last year. If traffic's light, they might send us direct to Ripon. If it gets heavy, then they'll back us up to one of those other 2 transitions. From Green Lake, we'll fly to the town of Ripon, and there we'll pick up railroad tracks that run parallel to 44, so we'll follow the tracks to Fisk. As we get close to Fisk, ATC will actually be camped out in trailers with binoculars, looking for our planes and calling us out by color and type. So I'll hear a call for my aircraft, which is a red and white Arrow, or maybe they'll call it a Cherokee. And they'll tell me to rock my wings to acknowledge. I don't need to respond to them. So there's so much traffic that to keep the airwaves clear, ATC conversation is mostly one way for this. So they talk and we listen. At that point they'll give me a runway assignment, and I will either follow the railroad tracks up to runway 27, or I'll follow Fisk Ave to runway 18 or 36. Last year when I did this, I got assigned runway 27, and I hope I get that one again. It's actually my favorite to fly. Those runways will have colored dots on them, and I will be instructed to land on a particular color. The plane behind me might be instructed to land on the color that's behind me. So that will help with sequencing and getting everybody through the flow, because there's going to be a ton of traffic for this. We won't be getting ground control instructions. Instead, we'll taxi off the runway right onto the grass, and then flagmen will direct us from there. So we'll either follow their instructions to park, or we'll head back out to depart from Oshkosh. Today I'm flying the Piper Arrow because it is my favorite airplane. I've also got the GTN 750 installed with it. I'm hoping that the traffic will show up on it, so that'll help a bit with situational awareness and knowing who's around me. There are VFR waypoints that you can put in for Green Lake, Ripon, Fisk, and I have put those in because it never hurts to have a little bit of help, but we're not using the GPS for this. So you have to fly visual, you have to fly over the tracks. That's different than flying direct between the waypoints, and you'll see me hand flying as we go throughout all of this. If you've watched my channel before, you know my videos usually have a nice musical montage scene and a lot of detail with the takeoff and landing, but I think you're here because you want to hear about the Fisk Arrival, so we're going to breeze through all of that stuff, and I'm going to be quiet through a chunk of this just so you could hear all the awesome ATC going on from the real EAA controllers who are staffing this event. The last item is I apologize in advance for the ending of this video. When you get there, you'll see that my simulator curled up into the fetal position and turned into a baked potato. That's the only way to explain how it reacted to all of the traffic around Oshkosh. So even though I tested it out by myself offline and my frames were awesome, my computer couldn't handle all the traffic. So you'll see some pretty bad frame rates at the end. It's still watchable, but you'll know why that happened. Okay, because we're connected to PilotEdge, we need to actually make CTAF calls. There might be other pilots around. So let's get going. Waukesha traffic, Piper 359 Golf Charlie, taxi runway 18, Waukesha. Waukesha traffic, Piper 359 Golf Charlie, departing runway 18, straight out departure, climbing 4,500 Waukesha. So that we're all using the same weather, we've been instructed to set winds to calm with altimeter of 29092. Because there's no winds, I just selected my runway based on what was closest to where I'd parked. So that's how I ended up on 18, in case you're wondering.
Oshkosh ATIS information Alpha, wind calm, visibility 10, sky clear, altimeter 29092. VFR arrival and departure procedures in effect. Arriving runway 27, 36 left, and 36 right. Pages 20 or 22 of the NOTAM. Departing runway 36 left at intersection Papa 5. Aircraft inbound for the Fisk Arrival, proceed to Green Lake to join the Fisk Arrival and monitor Fisk Approach on 120.7 for runway time and end frequency. Arriving aircraft must be familiar with runway exit procedures. Refer to the bottom of pages 20 or 22 for your specific runway's exit procedure at landing. Upon arrival, pilots wishing to depart immediately shall follow the flagmen. They'll guide you back to the runway for takeoff. Arrivals wishing to taxi to parking shall follow the flagmen until they see signage for parking.
Wind's currently calm, altimeter 29092. Looks like there's not that many aircraft over coming up the railroad track, so let's try to get together over the Ripon transition. Ripon transition, follow the aircraft or follow aircraft of like type and speed, 1,890 knots, 2,300 and 135 knots. Once you get about a mile from Fisk, I'll pick you up by type aircraft and color, hopefully. And I'll assign you a runway. That's pages 20 and 22 of the NOTAMs. We're landing runway 36 left, 36 right, and runway 27 today. White Skyhawk is going to 36, 126.6. White and brown Cessna digital approved Fisk going to runway 27, 18.5. Welcome to the show. You, a mile from Fisk. Rock those wings. Give me a good rock. Problem, follow Fisk Avenue, monitor tower 126.6. Oshkosh Airport, wind calm, altimeter 29092.
Looks like a yellow and white high wing Cessna type, half mile from Fisk. Rock your wings for me. Let me see the rock on you. You're going to go to 27 today. Going to go straight up the railroad tracks. Good rock, good rock. All right, that's a good rock on the Bonanza. I'm going to send you to runway 36 as you get towards Fisk here. You're going to start that right turn, eastbound turn, follow Fisk Avenue. For the left base, runway 36. As you make that right turn, monitor tower 126.6. Welcome to the show. If you're going to runway 27, the tower frequency will be 118.5. If you're going to 36, 126.6, don't change to that now. That's going to be after you cross Fisk. All right, if you're following the railroad tracks up to Fisk, that'll be a half mile in spacing, please. No over-unders, no side-by-sides, no S-turns. If you're having an S-turn, you're too close to the person in front of you. Make sure you keep those railroad tracks right underneath you. Go ahead and turn on your landing light. It's a lot easier for me to see as you approach Fisk. As you get close, I'm going to assign you a runway, either 27 or 36. We're in NOTAM pages 20 and 22. Please be familiar with those. When you make that turn, monitor tower 126.6. Welcome to the show. Looks like I got a steady stream of you coming in. Spacing's looking real good. Make sure you're keeping a half mile spacing. And Green Lake transition is where we're at right now. ATIS information Alpha. The altimeter is 29092. Wind is calm. Beautiful day at Oshkosh. Welcome. All right, looks like we've got a Cessna coming up on Fisk, about a mile. Looks like you're a little high. You can go ahead and bring that down to 1,800 for me if you would. You're a little bit higher. 1,800. We're going to send you to runway 27. Rock your wings for me, white and blue. White and blue Cessna, half mile from Fisk. Rock your wings. Good rock on that. All right, if you are along the railroad tracks headed towards Fisk, you should be finding a friend to follow. Half-mile in trail, please, at 2,300 at 135 knots or 1,800 at 90 knots. All right, as you're coming up Fisk Avenue, as you approach the intersection or the town here of Fisk, go ahead and turn your landing light on. Easier for me to see you. If you have retractable gear, it'd be great if you go ahead and put that down. We want to make sure we don't forget about that. Looks like a red and white low-wing Cherokee type or Warrior, half-mile from Fisk. Rock your wings for me. Piper type, half-mile from Fisk at 1,800. Go ahead and, oh, that's a good rock. I see that now. We're going to send you to 27. Going to go straight up the railroad tracks for runway 27 and maintain 1,800 until you get on that downwind. Got traffic coming out of the airport on the departure, so I want to run into those guys. So 1,800 till you're on the downwind. You monitor tower now 118.5. About a mile from Fisk, high-wing Cessna, maybe Skyhawk, gray and white. Rock your wings for me.
All aircraft out Oshkosh, runway 27, note on page 20. Be a turn to the downwind over the gravel pit. Upon passing the gravel pit, you start your descent on the downwind. We will take you out by color and type. Planning runway 27, orange dot and green dot. Welcome to the show. Okay, looking like a white and blue Skyhawk. Just turning downwind over the gravel pit. Go ahead and start that descent for me. White and blue Comanche. Go ahead and start a slight right turn for me. Start to ease into that turn right now. Go ahead and ease into it. Orange dot, angle for the orange dot, and clear to land on the orange dot for that blue Comanche. Good job. White and blue Cessna, kind of cranking in a little bit more for me towards that dot. Set her down on the green dot. Everybody left turns into the grass. Good job on the turns, guys. Welcome to the show. Nice job. Everybody inbound to Oshkosh, runway 27 will be runway 27, note on page 20. The downwind turn over the gravel pit. Once you're over the gravel pit, start your descent. Looks like I got a red and white Cherokee over the gravel pit. Keep it coming down. Start that descent. Keep it coming down. Land at 27, aiming for the orange and landing on the green dot. Good job on the Cherokee. Keep nosing it down. Give me that nose down. Lose that descent for me, or start that descent for me.
This is the point where my frame started crashing and I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to land.
For the two guys that taxied left off the runway, you should be passing behind that mall and then taxi eastbound on that south side of the runway. The white and blue Skyhawk and the blue Comanche. You need to make a 180 and taxi eastbound. Follow the flag.
And again, guys, sorry about, I didn't know about turn off the runway. My apologies. The red and white Cherokee, keep it around for the orange dot. Red and white Cherokee, nice job on the turn. Crank it around for the orange dot. Green dot, clear to land, runway 27. Everybody inbound runway 27 for the downwind. Maintain your altitude to the gravel pit. Turn downwind over the gravel pit and start your descent. We are landing orange and green dot on runway 27 today. Note on page 20. Looks like a black Cirrus. I'd like to see what that looks like in person. Black Cirrus. Go ahead and start your descent for me for runway 27. Black Cirrus. And the black Cirrus, where are you from?
California, Palm Springs.
Nice. How's the weather out there?
Hot.
Yeah, I kind of heard that.
Yeah, 115.
Yeah, that's not fun. I'm down in South Mississippi and our high today was maybe 92. Got the humidity, but not too bad.
Yeah, here is dry. Still 115, 120.
Yeah, no thanks. I used to be out in SoCal when I started my boiling hot out there sometimes. Now, Cirrus, go ahead and start the right turn now. Crank it around for the orange dot, green dot, clear to land. It looks like I got a black Cessna turning the downwind there over the gravel pit. Go ahead and start your descent for me for the white and black Cessna. Now, white and black Cessna, start that base turn. Turn the base for me. Aim for the orange dot. Runway 27, green dot, clear to land with a nice job, Skylane. Very good job. And for the white and black Cessna, be able to turn into the grass. Follow the flagman. Welcome to the show.
Okay, that was awesome. Wasn't it great? We got to interact with real-life air traffic controllers. We got to fly the Fisk Arrival. There's a ton of traffic around to keep an eye on. Had a self-sequencer cells. I loved everything about it. So it is awesome that PilotEdge puts this together each year. It started because the real-life AirVenture got canceled last year, and they decided to virtually recreate it. I think it's great that they carried it on to this year. So be sure to try it. You need a PilotEdge membership, then you go to their website, download the scenery, download the NOTAM. You can try it all offline, so if you're feeling like it's too complex, just try it by yourself. I did, just to familiarize myself with what I'm looking for from the cockpit and how each of the runway approaches work, and then give it a shot. It's great fun. So if you enjoy content like this, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks as always for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.